Yeah. 25, averaging 20 plus points. That's only happened one other time.
Reed was going to NFC Championship game. He even went to a Super Bowl.
He went to like 5 or 6.
They got a hell of a team. They call plays that beats like.
What up, everybody? What up? Shout out to new member Andre Gamboa.
What up?
Andre Gamboa,
up, Andre?
Who just signed up to become a member. We appreciate it. I got to rework the perks for that though. Update it for you guys. But yeah, we appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about. What up, Ant-Man? That's right. Keep your mind set. Guess you've been over at the Dead Hip Hop Live. But yeah, lots on the docket tonight. We got a trade that happened. Some of you may or may not have seen my short. Of course, Anthony Edwards, you saw the title of the show.
Wow.
LeBron had a few things to say about Curry, Iverson, and I guess Nick put this on here about the New York Knicks. So there's a question about them on
here. So many other better storylines in basketball. We talking the Knicks.
Yeah, but joining us, man, you know, it's basketball season, so, you know, he'll pop up, you know, a little bit more than usual. We got Q. What up, bro?
What's good?
Chilling. Manny said he may come through again. I guess he had fun last week. So he's going to come back and maybe say some stuff. We're definitely going to get to the power rankings from Spike. And we got a video from Nick. So we're going to have to power through some of this before Jalen dip out on us. And then we won't have any of that shit. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inch. Joining me on the show, we got Spike.
What up, though?
We got Shelton.
What's happening?
We got FIFO.
What it do?
And, of course, we have Q.
What's good?
Chilling. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. I'm going to try to follow the timer. We have a timer that's supposed to keep us on track with this stuff. So we're gonna do our due diligence. So if I cut y'all off, that's the reason why. But the big news last week that popped off, or just a couple of days ago, was Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh made a move. In addition to signing Russell Wilson, they also signed another quarterback that may or may not be able to play.
I think we know. 6th round pick. I think we know if he can play or not.
So
Come on, Lou.
Let's get into it. The Chicago Bears traded Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers sent Kenny Pickett to be the new starter for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's going to happen. I feel you, kid.
Between the Bears and the Steelers, which team will have better success with their QB situation?
You said the Bears and the Steelers?
Who will have better success? So
Did I read that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Bears
that's
and
a
Steelers,
good question.
Yeah, because obviously Caleb's going to be the guy, right?
Yeah, true. But then we got to add a little bit more context because
All
it
right.
wasn't just the trade of Justin Fields to Pittsburgh. Also, Chicago made a deal to go get Keenan Allen, which is he's coming off of his best year as a pro. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he's been injury riddled. And obviously, with the number 1 pick, they're expected to take Caleb Williams. So the question is, Caleb Williams and the plethora of weapons, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, potentially another wide receiver in this draft at some point in time. Is he going to have more success than Pittsburgh? To me, the short answer is going to be no, just based off of experience. I think obviously that and I kind of bit the fruit last year or going into, this particular season with Chicago. I like the weapons. Keenan Allen, they added that to it. Obviously, they have another high draft pick and they have second round picks where they can add even more weaponry. But the question mark is Caleb Williams. We don't know how he's going to acclimate to the NFL. We don't know if he's going to start off quick. Is he going to have, is it going to be 3 or 4 games before he really gets his feet up under him? That's a question mark. We know what Russell Wilson is. Justin Fields is also another question mark, but we know that the Pittsburgh Steelers won 10 games with Kenny Pickett, and we know that Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett today. You know what I'm saying? I see your face, Lou. I'm not saying that he's leaps and bounds better than Kenny Pickett, but he is a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett, so the expectation is a little bit higher. We also know George Pickens was not until the end of the season really utilized in the right way. And I don't think it's scheme. I think it was a Kenny Pickett type of thing. So I think that we will see more success from Pittsburgh because of the foundation. And, there is a little bit of juice left with Russell Wilson. So if Mike Tomlin and that organization can extrapolate that, they will have a successful season. I think it's questionable for Caleb. We don't know how successful he's going to be, even though they do definitely have weapons there.
FIFO said a lot, but you were correct when you said the stability part. That's why Pittsburgh got the better end of the bargain, because you put 2 quarterbacks with questionable coaching staffs that they come off of in a situation where they have more stability with Mike Tomlin than they have ever had in any other stop that they've had, other than, with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. But he hadn't had that in a while. And, he's a little discombobulated. His confidence is shaking, it seems. So you put him with Mike Tomlin, and that defense is going to be tremendous. That's going to help out a ton. Plus, he got a better running game than they do in Chicago by far. Chicago last year with Justin Fields had, them USFL players running behind him. He didn't even really have true running backs. So in saying that, Pittsburgh has stability, the franchise is stable, playoff, all that stuff that they're used to. That's a much easier and much more fluid situation to join as opposed to going to Chicago, which is still going to be nice. I like the addition of Keenan Allen. I love that. You're right about that 100%, and we'll see what else they do in the draft. But like I said, when you look at that team as a whole, this one over here just seems more solid.
The Steelers family member is elated that with the signings, like
Elated with Justin Fields being signed?
Russell Wilson and Justin Fields potentially. Because Justin Fields is who it's the potential, the upside of Justin Fields after Russell Wilson leaves. But Justin Fields is who he is, so he's more excited about Russell Wilson. And if Russell Wilson can mentor Justin Fields, they'll take it. But they haven't had anybody, so.
Right, and if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you had Slash all them years. This is your Slash 2.0. If nothing else, you can use him in special packages.
Fields?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
You can put him in special packages and let him do what he do. That man was magic when he had the ball in his hands at times.
Magical.
Yes.
Those are the words we use to talk about Justin
100%. Did you not see some of them games?
So it's
I'll
a
show you
steal,
some
though,
highlights.
Spike. You got to admit it's a steal to get him for the 6th round pick. Yeah. The other thing that I was telling my father-in-law when we were discussing,
I think that's what he worth, kid.
Nah.
No.
That's what he worth.
They had 4
I know, but
teams. They had other offers.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did have
They
other,
looked out.
But you didn't have a ton of other offers, and if you did have a lot better offers, then you would probably take those, right?
Well, here's the thing. What happened is Chicago was a prisoner of the moment, meaning that they didn't move the Belichick rule. Move off early versus late. They moved off late. So why is a team going to offer you what is the true compensation for Justin Fields?
Well, they couldn't move off early because nobody knew he could play.
No one wanted him. What are y'all talking about?
Look,
why are y'all
asking prices
y'all
too
acting
high.
like somebody got a value deal for a quarterback that win 3 games a year?
Want him, and his valuation was more of a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Right.
GMs across the league prior to this offseason were saying that was what his value was worth.
Correct.
The issue was with Chicago. They waited too long to move off of Justin Fields.
Yeah.
If they would have
They didn't
moved
make up
off
their mind.
earlier, exactly, they would have got higher compensation. Now they know, look, you got the number 1 pick. We know who you're going to take. And if not, keep them both and see what happens. They know that they're not. So you know what? Are you going to take the 6th round pick or not?
Yeah. And
If you felt like that he was worth that much and he had shown that much value, then you keep him and hope someone get hurt in training camp or hope someone get hurt in the season. 62 quarterbacks played last year. 62.
That's what I thought.
Like a lot of people get hurt. So when people would need a Justin Fields, I would think that then he has more value. But y'all are telling me that it was a steal for a 6th-round pick. That's about what he's worth. You're talking about a quarterback that wins 3 games per year.
In a terrible system with a terrible coach.
But he's been a terrible quarterback. And I ain't saying that he can't be better. I'm not saying that at all. He could go to the Pittsburgh and he could be good.
That is what you're saying, Spike. You
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Because Shelton has pulled up the numbers multiple times and compared them to Lamar.
He wins 3 games per year.
He's won 3 games.
That's it.
That needs context, bro.
Sixth-round pick, that's good for someone who wins 3 games per year. I ain't giving you a 3rd or 4th. I don't care how you look on this film. I know you can't win football games, and I have to hope that you come to my system and that you do well in it. So for y'all to say that the Steelers have a better outlook on quarterback than the Bears do, who have the number 1 pick and who people are thinking is a generational talent, that's crazy. Justin Fields is not a generational talent. Y'all would agree to that, right?
Right. Yeah. Generational
Caleb
talent.
Williams has been labeled. Caleb Williams has been labeled as a generational talent.
So was
right?
Trevor Lawrence. How'd that work out?
Yeah.
He's not a bust. But what I'm saying is it does
work
work out.
Bust.
If it does work out, though, then he's going to be leaps and bounds better than Justin Fields. So how do the Steelers have a better outlook than the Bears?
Did Justin Fields have a good situation during his 4-year tenure in Chicago?
He had just as good a situation as Justin Herbert did.
Absolutely not.
No!
Absolutely
All
not.
right, we don't want to hear
Justin Herbert had the worst. He had the
we
worst.
don't need
coach
to
in the NFL.
Let's hear from a Pittsburgh Steelers fan that's on the show. What about you, Q, and then hand it to Manny? 'Cause this fool.
Y'all know I'm right. That's Justin Herbert.
Regardless of the outcome for whatever Chicago does, the answer is Pittsburgh, regardless of whatever happens, because it's a win-win-win situation no matter what Pittsburgh's outcome for this season is the next year, and it favors them in all 3 outcomes. If Russell Wilson is good, you sign him for another 2 years, 3 years. If Russell Wilson is bad and Justin Fields is good, then you look like a genius. If both of them suck, you re-up and tank, and you have a more stable organization. And I don't trust Chicago to do anything with Caleb Williams. We're going to be talking in 3 years that Caleb Williams can't win and blah, blah, blah until they make very heavy, infrastructural changes. I do like Keenan Allen. I do like DJ Moore. They just signed DeAndre Swift from the Eagles, which was a really underrated signing. But I don't know if they have play calling, nor do they have, GM, intellect and foresight to actually bolster a team around Caleb Williams. I could see next year being a flash in the pan season and then a huge fall off, or I could just see disaster from jump because it's Chicago. Pittsburgh is infrastructurally better. I think just from Mike Tomlin's stability and the fact that he actually cares about coaching guys. I think that Pat Fryer moved, Jalen, the other running back behind Najee Harris, the 2 dual backs they have. George Pickens looks like potential top 5 wide receiver in the league. He has that level of talent. And, I said Fryer moved the tight end, and they can have the best wide receiving core every single year from the draft because they just have some of the best scouts when it comes to their skill positions. So you put Justin Fields, you put Russell Wilson in this scenario, I don't see how you can lose. And even if both suck, I still trust the Steelers to get a better quarterback, even when Chicago has Caleb Williams in their grasp right now.
What about you, Manny?
Yeah, I think I said it in the group chat. I thought Pittsburgh did a masterful job. I don't know how you could say that they didn't improve their quarterback situation overnight. They went from having Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett to now having Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. That's an upgrade in my book. I don't care what metrics or what measurements you talk about. That's an upgrade for me. Listen, like you said, there's not much downside to Pittsburgh's situation because we know they don't have a quarterback anyway. So if this busts completely, well, we know that they need to go get a quarterback anyway. So nothing really changes in that realm. And if one of these two or both of them prefer, ideally for Pittsburgh, give them something, then I think you have the ultimate situation where you're in a situation where you have a veteran that you can hand off to a young guy, or a young guy that can take over for a veteran, i.e. if he gets hurt or is inconsistent or whatever. So I think it's just an ultimate power move for Pittsburgh, man. I mean, I think they did a smart, masterful job of improving their quarterback situation really very simply without giving much assets or capital. I mean, think about it. They're only paying Russell Wilson what? I think maybe the league minimum, or just
1.2 million.
Yeah.
1.3 million. I mean, think about that. I don't care how much. And listen, I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson fan, but I think all of us on this panel can agree that Russell Wilson is at least better than Kenny Pickett. I don't even think that's saying much. He's better than Mason Rudolph. So right there, you're getting an improvement. As for Chicago, listen, the thing with Chicago is they made a financial decision more than a tactical decision. Chicago's at a point where they need to improve the infrastructure around any quarterback that they put out there. If they were to keep Justin Fields, the quarterback clock is finished. Now they're going into a situation where they have to pay him, maybe not Kirk Cousins money, but they have to pay him market value for a quarterback, which we all know is out of this world. So that they had to reset the quarterback clock on their team. So that's why they're in a situation where they're going to pick Caleb Williams, reset that quarterback clock, which resets their cap, which allows them to go out and get a DJ or extend a DJ Moore, which allows them to go out there and sign a Keenan Allen and a DeAndre Swift. So Chicago's thinking about listen, we could keep Justin Fields, but now we're going to have to keep Justin Fields with all these weapons around. And now we're going to have to pay him $25-30 million, which tanks their cap. And they're going to be in another situation again like that in a year or two. So I think Chicago did the smart thing. I think Pittsburgh did the smart thing. We'll see who wins that trade in a few years.
You don't think the business had anything to do with it? I mean, this guy's owed $25 million if his fifth-year option is picked up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Clearly.
So, Spike?
But what was the question?
I mean, the business part of it.
But the question, I'm saying in the beginning was the better future, right? Mm-hmm. So people are telling me, everyone's sitting here saying that Pittsburgh has the better future at quarterback. Mm-hmm. Y'all are telling me that y'all don't think that Caleb Williams will be better than Justin Fields. So is that what y'all are telling me?
No. This is what we're telling you.
So why would you
hold on. You already asked it. Let me answer.
But I want to know if that's what y'all saying, because then I understand.
I got you. You asked it. I'm gonna answer it. What we're saying is, I'd rather have a good to potentially really good quarterback with a stable organization than an exceptional quarterback with a fucked up ass organization, because that quarterback ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah,
that's assuming Caleb Williams isn't a. That's also assuming that Caleb Williams is an exceptional quarterback. I think he's got the talent too, but we don't know that. We're just assuming
it's not proven.
You're right.
We've seen Justin Fields' talent.
Well, Justin Fields not the starter. The question was between the Bears and the Steelers, which team will have better success with their QB situation?
In the long run, it's going to be Caleb Williams.
How do you know that?
Because Caleb Williams, you would think, is first of all, he was a better prospect than Justin Fields ever was, right? No one ever talked about Justin Fields being generational talent. Am I wrong or right?
What does that even mean? Generational talent means
if we're talking about the future, if we're talking about the future of the Bears, Manny, even when they took Justin Fields, they weren't sure if he was good or not. Just like you guys are saying, y'all are not sure if Caleb Williams is good or not. But there's a better chance that Caleb Williams will be good than there is that Justin Fields will be good. Because we've seen Justin Fields play in the NFL and win 3 games per year.
But the one thing that can stop the generational talent that we talk about, because I know he's talented. I don't have a problem with Caleb Williams. It's the organization. That's who can stop him. Not even the defenses. Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's his own organization that can shut that down.
Trevor Lawrence was highly regarded just like Caleb Williams.
What part of the organization are y'all talking about?
The whole thing.
Everything. The whole infrastructure.
So y'all think that the Bears organization, it's impossible for them to draft a good quarterback?
When's the last one they did?
It's not the quarterback. It's not the quarterback.
Jim McMahon.
It hasn't been the same GM for the last 50 years, though. That's what I'm saying.
And it's not just the quarterback. It's what you surround him with. It's also the coaching mind. All that stuff matters. And that situation there is not as solid as Pittsburgh.
Right.
That's the point.
Okay.
Let's just look around.
We've seen Pittsburgh win. Oh, I'm sorry. We've seen Pittsburgh win with Mason Rudolph, like we talked about. We've seen them win with people off the street.
And why is that? Organization.
Yeah.
Right. And then you could look at other organizations and be like, let's look at the Green Bay Packers. For 30 plus years, they've gotten the quarterback position right. The Bears haven't done it. Defensively, now if we're going to talk about defense, well, shit, they had Brian Urlacher, they had a lot of other guys. But from a quarterback perspective, the Bears are not that organization. And there's multiple organizations like that.
They haven't been that organization. And what I'm saying is, this is the first time that they've had an opportunity to draft someone like Caleb Williams.
Okay, and
we don't know if he's good or not. Y'all
okay.
are right. But from a prospect perspective, it's just like the Colts having an opportunity to draft Andrew Luck. He's supposed to be a generational talent that isn't Caleb Williams. The Bears have never been in this position. Y'all are saying this about Justin Fields. Y'all are saying this about Rex Grossman. Y'all are saying this about people who aren't Caleb Williams.
But you know, the thing about this whole generational talent type of thing is that you can be exceptional, but there's still levels to this shit. Because Andrew Luck went to the worst team and they made the fucking playoffs the next year.
Right.
That is generational.
Bruh.
Trevor Lawrence has been generational.
Patrick
because
Mahomes. No, go ahead. Finish your. Go ahead.
Because Trevor Lawrence was generational, but the organization was so bad. They picked the wrong head coach. They picked everything wrong around them. That first year, Trevor Lawrence looked shaky. We know that Trevor Lawrence is a damn good quarterback.
Right.
I'm not gonna say he's top 5, but he's a damn good quarterback. He could play in this league. But we had to question that because of the organization. And all I'm saying is, Caleb Williams could be either great and all of a sudden they make the playoffs, or we are going to question, can Caleb Williams play in the NFL because of how bad the organization is?
What do you got, Q and Manny?
Some people would disagree with me, but when you look at people like Matthew Stafford, he think about his first couple years in Detroit. He couldn't lift Detroit out of hell because Detroit's organization, from the decision makers to the people who are able to spend money, the people who are supposed to be coaching on every single level, from the top, the head of the snake, all the way down to positions coaches. Sometimes it's as much of a medical staff problem where guys don't invest in their medical staff to be able to get guys going, trainers. It's everything all the way down. So it's like you can't lift an entire ship by yourself, bro. Like, you can only be given the title of captain of the ship, but that don't mean that you are, not able to overcome the deficiencies of every single part of the ship that you don't necessarily control. You're just the one who's given the keys to it. So you see guys like Geno Smith. Obviously this is a different talent barrier, but you see the success he has, or relative success, in Seattle versus where the Jets were. And Manny can speak to that. About 10 years ago, the Jets were in shambles 10 years ago, and now we're hoping that but it's like, but we're hoping now that with Aaron Rodgers, they could do something. But Justin Fields is in a similar situation where he's either going to be Google stock in '97 or he's going to be a bust.
Aaron.
But one thing, but one thing we do know is that Chicago has never been an incubator for any of their talent to do anything in terms of success, bro. It's Steelers. Regardless, they just went 5-1 against the North. The Steelers have been known to run the North for the past 20 years.
Spike, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think your assessment is wrong. I just think that the way you're framing it as the Bears clearly won and the Steelers clearly lost, and I think that's a mistake, because I think you could say that both got what they wanted out of this, right? Like, Chicago resets their cap, resets their quarterback situation. They could potentially draft the next generational great, whatever phrasing you want to use. They get their next future franchise quarterback, and Pittsburgh gets an opportunity to say, listen, we got an opportunity to improve our quarterback room for relatively cheap, for basically nothing. 1.1 million and a 6th-round pick. They paid nothing, and they upgraded their quarterback situation. So both situations won. They got what they wanted out of that. Now, we'll see in 2-3 years what happens. I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to become the next Steve Young or the next Michael Vick or whoever, but I'm saying that he's in an infinitely better situation. I don't even think you can argue that. He is in an infinitely better situation than he was in Chicago.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree that he's in a better situation.
Ooh, that hurt, didn't it?
No, it didn't.
Hey, like you said, what you said in the chat, what did you say?
He's in a much better situation, but I still think, as Manny said in the beginning of that, my point stands, though. My point stands in the sense of the question was the success of the quarterback position amongst those two teams.
Ken, what you said?
If I'm the Bears,
He got to figure out
figure out a way to root for Tomlin and hate on Justin Fields at the same time.
I ain't defense, Chad. I'm saying if I'm the Bears, I feel a lot better than I would if I were the Steelers because there's still that option for them of like neither one of these dudes may work.
Yeah,
Justin Fields may not be good, and Wilson
Caleb might not
we'll
work.
go to the next
Caleb may
topic
not be
too.
good, but he's a better chance of being good than those two. You would
Can
think.
you name me a good USC quarterback in the last 20 years, just real quick, since we're talking about like trends and
Carson
things,
Palmer.
right?
Carson Palmer.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I say that because he came from Oklahoma, so he get a pass because he's not really a USC quarterback.
Like,
He
come
just
on now.
stopped there.
But
Hey,
again,
but-
I'm not calling them generational talent. This is what the scouts are saying.
But you know what's crazy about this?
They didn't say that about Justin Fields.
This division got pretty much all black quarterbacks, though. When you look at Pittsburgh, Cleveland got like 4 now. Cleveland has 4 black quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow might as well be black.
Yeah, that's what Joe Burrow, too.
I don't know. He's at the Trump convention. I don't know about that.
Shit, Trump, they going black for him too.
Chill.
That might be the blackest thing he can do.
Touche.
Oh man, Hollywood Brown, Marquise Hollywood Brown, signed to the Chiefs on a 1-year deal worth up to $11 million. And I guess people were excited about this. Are the Chiefs getting too comfortable with giving Mahomes bargain bin wide receivers? And before the question is answered, I just want to say I did not come up with the
Everybody
title
watching.
for
We know.
for quarterback.
Everybody knows where they came from.
For quarterback. Quarterback, that was all Jalen. That wasn't me, y'all. So
That's pretty good,
Yeah,
Joe.
that was a good one. That was a
Y'all
good
don't
one.
like this
But
signing? I love this signing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when
Why?
you have a
I
quarterback,
do too.
when you have to answer the question, because that's the theme of today's show, right? Answering the actual question, as Spike says. I think to answer the question, are they getting too comfortable? I mean, I guess you could say that, but really, realistically, when you have a real generational talent like Patrick Mahomes that can literally make lemonades out of literal lemonades or lemons, like you're taking anybody and you're going to put them in a good situation because of the talent that you have at that quarterback situation. It's the same thing with Brady. Tom Brady made Chris Hogan a thing for a few years. Like, this is the type of talent level that you're talking about at the quarterback position. So you're in a situation where the Chiefs feel like, listen, we don't necessarily have to break the bank to go get a wide receiver. I'm sure they'll draft one. I'm sure they'll develop one. Rice is a perfect example of that. But I don't think they feel like they have to necessarily break the bank to go get a wide receiver when you have Patrick Mahomes, you have that infrastructure, what we talk about. And also, look at the trend. A lot of these big-time wide receivers don't always win championships. I mean, for all the great wide receivers out there, find me a team that had a great, dominant number one receiver recently that has won championships outside of Tyreek Hill.
And that was
the whole point.
okay.
No,
And I was
sorry, you go ahead.
No, that's fine. I was going to say Tyreek Hill is what they're trying to recreate. When you take a look at what they added, as opposed to what they tried to add. You tried to add McCole Hardman. You tried it with what's Nick's boy?
Moore?
We get.
Kadarius.
Tony, yeah,
Kadarius Toney.
yeah. This is what they're trying to do, and then they bring in him. He's an upgrade from both those guys. So you look at Marquise Brown. That's the what you wanted those two to be, and he played well enough in Arizona. You put him with this team, huh?
Where?
He played well enough. What I mean is he's an upgrade over the two that they
He's
had.
a solid wide receiver. He's not a superstar, but he's
not a
a
superstar, but
solid wide receiver.
And he has
Freshman wide
speed.
700 yards. Hollywood Brown had 700 plus yards
Right.
with like multiple QBs before.
He's a
Kyler
deep
got back.
threat. Yeah, he's a
Right.
deep threat.
That's
He's
what you
someone that
want.
can break the game
That's what
open.
you wanted from
He stretches
McCole
the
Hardman.
field. Regardless, it's not even about what he can do. It's about what you have to plan for. And that's what Patrick Mahomes is going to take advantage of. So if I send Hollywood Brown down the field, he may not have the greatest hands of all time, but he can catch enough of those balls to where you have to respect it. Now the middle of the field is wide open. Kelsey, pause. No, but you can like stretch enough of the field to where the middle's wide open, where you have Rashee Rice and Travis Kelsey. I assume he's come back for 1 or 2 more years, and then that's what the whole replication of the Tyreek effect is. So you have Andy Reid been able to scheme up a whole bunch of different looks that you didn't have last year.
And what this does is it real quick. And what this does too is, and that's what to my point was, it allows them to not draft based on need necessarily. They can play the board out. They don't have to necessarily rush to go out and draft a wide receiver in the first round. Now they can kind of take their time because this is a deep wide receiver class anyway, where they can find a wide receiver in the second or third round because you've addressed a need by adding a veteran that you know you could plug in and play right away. So it's just again, it's another smart move by another smart organization.
Right. So this is the thing, right? Like I always talk about identity when we're talking about team sports, and the thing, personal identity with Hollywood Brown. We know what he is. He's a deep threat. He's not the over the middle wide receiver. You send that man on 9 routes and let it fly, and we know that that's what he does, and he does it well. With McCole Hardman, he was there when Tyreek was there, and then they let him go and they brought him back. He is their gadget guy. He's not that home run hitter, even though he does have home run speed. For whatever reason, he's not utilized like that in that system. He's just not that guy. Kadarius Toney, they wanted him for the short plays and stuff that Rashee Rice eventually became and is better at than what Kadarius Toney is. So the fact of the matter is this. We know that this is a deep wide receiver draft, and the question was, can we still give him bargain bit pieces and still expect greatness? Yes, because he is that great. And when you are that great of a quarterback, technically it don't matter what's around you because you elevate those guys. And we saw it firsthand all last season. I saw it from the first game against the Lions. I said, bro, what the hell is going on with these wide receivers? Right. Kadarius Toney literally had one in his hand that he let go, and it was pick 6 the other way. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I watched that game, and I think Mahomes had 2 or 3 interceptions, and I'm like, that was not his fault. It's not like he's making incorrect reads. The wide receiver position is a questionable at best, and they figured it out. Before the playoffs, he said, we're going to play our best football, and he wasn't lying. Mm-hmm. He held those guys accountable. They went and got a guy that they know what he's going to do. They're not going to ask him to do nothing outside of what we know that you can do. They will address it in the draft as well. Like Manny said, this is a deep draft, and there's a lot of different types of wide receivers, you know what I'm saying, in this draft. So I think they're going to be fine because Mahomes is still that guy. Now, if we fast forward 10 years and Mahomes loses a little bit of arm, a little bit of physicality, a little bit of this, little of that, then it's like, okay, go get him the premier guy. But right now, hey, do what you do because it don't matter.
And it's also an unfair question, right? Because the way their cap is set up now, they just paid Chris Jones. We know they're paying Patrick Mahomes. The way the cap is, you're not getting Justin Jefferson. You're not getting these guys, right? You're not getting T. Higgins. So you have to kind of be creative when you are in this situation, when you're in this rarefied air that the Chiefs are in. You have a franchise level, Hall of Fame, GOAT level quarterback. You have to find smart ways to add weapons around it without necessarily breaking your cap. So you do that by finding diamonds in the rough. You do that by drafting and developing guys, which is what they've done with Rice. So that's the way that they're doing it, and I don't think it's a wrong way of doing it.
And Manny, there's always going to be casualties, right? Like L'Jarius Sneed is a casualty. They pay Chris Jones. I felt that that's the right move. Chris Jones. Not saying that L'Jarius is no slouch. Definitely a top 7 corner, top 5 corner in the league. But Chris Jones impacts a lot more than L'Jarius. And then we know this. I talked about it a couple years ago. They drafted that whole secondary, and they won a Super Bowl when the majority of them were rookies. So guess what? Put on your big boy pants. Your leader, he's a casualty. We can't afford him. But guess what? We're gonna pay one of you. Who's it gonna be?
It's easier to find a shutdown corner than it is to find a dominant interior defensive lineman.
100%.
They just don't make them on trees, man. So you have one, you gotta hold on to them.
Mm-hmm. Does that apply to the Dallas situation? They restructured Dak's contract. They didn't hold on to Tony Pollard, so they let him go. I remember all the people screaming that he should replace
and your left tackle too.
Smith.
Zeke.
Yep.
Yeah. Spike. Has this offseason started as a failure, or does everyone need to calm down, bro?
Mute the
You about to have a heart attack?
Yeah.
You having the big one, kid?
Hey,
It's the big
Jalen,
one.
mute everybody else's mics.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing when they come out and say that we're going all in, and then you resign. going all in is re-signing McCartney and restructuring Dak's deal. But
Spike,
to Dallas's
Spike.
credit,
Before you continue, what would you have liked to see? Like, what is realistically what they could have done under their current circumstance? Go ahead.
I would like for them to, as Ken just said, restructuring Dak's contract was important. I also think it's very important to add a playmaker in the backfield. That's when Dallas is most effective. So signing Henry or one of the 6 backs that had been doing tremendous in the league prior to last year, Henry, my man is signed with the Packers. Who else am I thinking about?
Saquon.
Any one of the running backs, Saquon Barkley, doing that I felt like would have been effective. However, Manny, Dallas drafts good players. I know people don't like to hear that, but you're talking about CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, Fredericks
Peyton
on
Van
the
Der Esch.
line,
Peyton Van Der
Tyron
Esch. I know he had to retire.
Van Der Esch, Glenn, Diggs. Like we do very well in the draft and have been doing very well in the draft for the last couple of years. So no, it's not sexy to be able to develop your own talent that way, especially when you say, "Oh, we're going all in and we want to win." But a lot of the takes that I've been hearing in the mainstream sound about right to me now. I'm not really sure how committed Jerry Jones is to winning, because if he were like committed to winning and wanting to win a Super Bowl before he died, he would make the free agent splash. Like, you don't have a conversation with Derrick Henry and you're like, okay, well, his price too high, we're not going to sign him. That's not what you do. However, if you can stay relevant as the Cowboys have over the last 30 years without going to a Super Bowl, without having as much success as their fans would like them to, if you can stay relevant doing it the way that you've been doing, why wouldn't he do that? It's the number one value franchise in sports. So I'm really getting to the point as a fan that I think that he really don't give a fuck if we win a Super Bowl or not. It matters to him if the Cowboys stay relevant.
It's all about branding. Have I not been saying this shit for some years now?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, See, now you don't know.
I ain't asked you to agree.
Now you don't
I
know
ain't asked
about
you
that.
to agree.
But yeah, man, look, the issue has been Jerry Jones. The issue is going to continuously be Jerry Jones. It is what it is. It is disappointing, though, to know that they had such a good regular season, and then they go into the playoffs and they lay that egg, and then now they go into free agency, and it's like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like the actions and the words ain't matching up. This don't feel like all in right now. You know, and at the end of the day, you look at Philly. Philly got better with Saquon.
The Giants got better with Burns.
The Giants got better with Burns. You know, obviously they still need a quarterback, but it is what it is.
Still got better.
They still got better. They still got better as an organization. So, you know, like, you look around the NFL and the Cowboys should be competing, and it's like they're sliding off the treadmill. They can't keep up.
Right.
And that's an issue. That's a big time issue. And I don't know what y'all gonna do, but I don't think that you're, first and foremost, I'll say this. The players need to shut the hell up. And I'm glad that I have not heard Michael Parsons say nothing. I haven't heard Dak Prescott say nothing.
He kind of said something, though. Michael Parsons kind of said something.
What'd he say?
He always be talking.
He was just like, the leaders need to be the leaders, essentially. That's what he said.
I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with guaranteeing we're going to win and we're going to do this.
Oh,
and
no, he ain't doing that. He's just been calling people out.
And calling your own teammates out, your own organization, saying, "Hey, we need to step up." I'm okay with that. That's leadership. But when you start guaranteeing shit and saying we're gonna do this, hey, bro, you starting to write checks that your teammates in this organization can't cash. You know what I'm saying? And your play has been very suspect when you do it. So for me, be quiet and let it play out. Let your play on the field do the talking.
You know what the problem is? No one is calling him out, but I'll be the first one to call him out. Jerry Jones got to come into the new generation, man. He has to get a black QB. This is the fucking problem. And I've been telling Jerry for the past 7 years.
Yeah, you
gotta get a black QB.
You enjoy this, Q.
So, but at the end of the day,
Damn. Dakota don't count? Wow.
If we being for, half the time, if we being for real though, when it comes to Dallas, I do think that it is just a matter of Jerry kind of being a little bit too egomaniacal, man. You know, I think some years he's counting money. Some years he's counting relevance, but every year I feel like he's doing just enough. He's like, you ever have like that car that you know how to really like not fill it up all the way with gas because it can get you to certain places. And you're like, man, I ain't got to fill it up all the way because I can get there without having to pay the money. That's what that is with Jerry. He's like, I feel like we can get there, but I ain't about to go pay $30 million for no Derrick Henry. I ain't about to go get 1 year of Odell Beckham. I'm not about to do that because I'm not trying to pay no luxury. So at the end of the day, Jerry's just a little bit cheap, but I feel like he does have a delusion of grandeur that this is good enough to get there.
I don't think Jerry Jones. I don't think anybody could realistically call Jerry Jones cheap. But I think what the Cowboys are in is the situation where you have a pretty good quarterback that you're paying GOAT money. And when that happens, you put yourself in a situation where you're just good enough to win and compete for the playoffs, but you're not good enough to win championships. So you're kind of in this like no man's land. So for instance, with Dak Prescott, we know he's a good quarterback, but he's getting paid Patrick Mahomes money. And when that happens, it just completely flips your whole situation now, because now you're paying that quarterback, 30-40% of your cap. I know they restructured it, so it's probably lower now, but you're still paying him a significant portion of your cap. You also have Michael Parsons that needs a deal eventually. You got DeMarcus Lawrence that you're paying. You got other guys that you're paying on that team. So now you're in a situation where it's like, okay, we got to make smart decisions with our money. What are we going to do? Are we going to go out there and sign a Derrick Henry, who I think it would have been the signee that they should have made? But you have to think about it like, are we really in a position where we're going to invest on a 31-year-old running back? Some will say yes, right? If you're in the Cowboys situation, you're going to be like, well, why can't we just go find our own Derrick Henry and pay him cheap?
Yeah,
so I think especially we've been successful doing that over the last few years with a Parsons, with a CeeDee Lamb, with a Dak Prescott.
Exactly.
They think that they can do it in the draft, which I'm not too sure if that's true though. Like,
but the NFL spike has come to a place where you have to do it in both the draft and through free agency. Like the Eagles routinely for the past, I would say before we went and got Alshon Jeffrey in like 2017 during Carson Wentz's only good year with us, we were very cheap. We didn't really go out and sign a lot of guys. We kind of tried to draft and build guys up and whatnot. But it's like we had to go out and get the Torrey Smiths, and we had to go and get Alshon. We had to go and pay people. And over the last 7 years, we've been kind of maneuvering in and out of, all right, let's draft some guys, let's trade some pieces, let's spend the money, let's take the risk. And that's just Jeff Lurie as an owner trusting Howie Roseman. And I don't know if Jerry trusts Steven enough to give him the full checkbook. I don't know what's going on.
Right. The point of it is when you have an owner that's your GM, there's really no pressure. He does what he wants to do. He makes decisions based off how he feels, as opposed to it's a little different when your job is on the line and you're making these decisions. You put a little bit more thought into it. When you're doing it from his standpoint, he's playing a video game at this point, and it's not working out.
Nah, it is working for him. It's making him money. I think that's the most important thing to him.
Well, that franchise is going to make money anyway, and
I feel like that's what he's mainly concerned about.
He's gotten it to the point where it is. Now he deserves a lot of credit for how big the Dallas Star is. But at the same time, you got to put people in place that can help you make these decisions.
I think you're going through the motions when you're talking about trying to win.
Are they a worse team?
He's really invested in the Dallas Cowboys brand. But when you're talking about trying to win a Super Bowl, he's going through the motions.
How old is Jerry Jones?
80-something?
Yeah,
he right there with Trump and Biden. Yeah. He right in their age.
Yeah, here's the other thing, too. The Cowboys are in the NFC. The NFC, outside of the 49ers, like, is there another dominant team that, so I feel like a lot of this is also like the Cowboys feel like, listen, we're not going to necessarily break our backs to try to go out here and just go all in, guns blazing, go over the cap and go over the luxury tax, when the team we got right now, you could arguably say is as good as they were last year, if not maybe a little bit better. Again, it's hard to say because we don't know what the finished product is without seeing the full draft season play out. But I think the Cowboys are fine, man. I mean, listen, I get it. I think it's easy to sit there and be like, that's the other thing about this. Fans want unrealistic things, right? Like, oh, the Cowboys fell short last year. Well, let's go out and get, Justin Jefferson. Let's go out and get Chris Jones. Let's go out and get. There's a salary cap, gentlemen. Like, there's a salary cap, and you're paying Dak Prescott $45 million a year. So realistically, you are not going to get these big time players. And does Derrick Henry push you over the top enough where it justifies signing him? I think Derrick Henry does that for the Ravens. I don't know if he does that for the Cowboys.
I think Saquon Barkley does.
Yes, he does.
I think
Yes,
Derrick
he
Henry
does.
does. I was going to say, because you take a look at what Derrick Henry brings to the table as opposed to Tony Pollard, you already got an upgrade. So whatever upgrades the position, and that's a position of weakness for that team. That team is pretty strong across the board, except for the fact that they didn't have an RB1.
Running back and linebacker.
Yeah.
Those are the two positions.
So, yeah, Derrick Henry does push the needle, even at what is he, 30, 31?
31.
Yeah, even then he pushes the needle.
But
At the end of the
what
day,
is-
Spike, it comes down to half Prescott and you know what I'm saying, my Michael podcast. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to them niggas, man. Like you have to be able to trust Dak when the chips are on the table. And I don't know, like we keep looking at everybody, offense coordinators, money that we should be spending, but it's like, and every time, like. If I could do a magic trick and fast forward us to February and Dak Prescott is lined up on the center and it's playoff game, do we have any faith that that's going to be different?
Finish the question.
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't got to finish the question. No, the answer is no. What I did wonder and what's been perplexing me all week is they said that Tom Brady took these deferments or whatever it may be when the Patriots were winning, and now we see Patrick Mahomes doing the same thing with the Chiefs. But we see quarterbacks like Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins asking for the max. Like, why wouldn't each quarterback understand that's what you need to do?
Because these quarterbacks are
in order
not
to win
Tom Brady.
championships?
They're
That's
not Tom Brady.
Because
and
they're not
Patrick
Tom Brady
Mahomes.
and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick
So
Mahomes,
y'all don't think that they
arguably,
know?
but
Y'all don't think that they understand that I can take less money and my team
ego
can
is
be
an
better,
amazing
and it's
thing.
a
Nah,
better
bro.
chance to win.
Nah,
Ego.
That's crazy.
Ego is an amazing thing.
Even
Like,
more so,
crazy.
even more so than that, man, is security.
It's a
Tom
proven method.
Tom Brady, and
That's
Patrick
crazy.
Mahomes ain't going nowhere. So they can
But they
do
also,
all the deferments they want.
It's
they
crazy.
also see, the thing is, Dak Prescott from a marketing standpoint is not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes got State Farm money.
Right.
He got Head and Shoulders money.
Until you
he
take
got
less
all
money and you're able to have more weapons and you're able to win a Super Bowl, and now
I-
people know you as a winner.
That's the
versus
chance you take,
losing.
though. Ain't but one Super Bowl champ.
Yes. So
Listen.
again,
I'm with you,
I
Spike.
find it crazy to me that no other quarterback is like, well, let me try that.
Because no other quarterback has the security of those two. You naming people
Not-
that,
not-
like I said,
Not to mention Brady had Giselle Bundchen too. By the way,
yeah, right.
Oh, the other thing is they won early.
I mean, have
Yeah,
you
one
seen
early.
that?
You win early, then you
Exactly.
can get those endorsements.
Good point.
You already known as a winner.
Really good
Yeah.
point. Really good point.
I mean,
you-
have you seen
yeah.
have you seen that Terrence Howard clip when he's talking to all the black basketball players? He's like, "Nigga, they made you black. They white. That's just it, bro. Like it's simple. Patrick MAGA Mahomes got hella bread and he already won. Tom
Yeah.
Brady, he could have been a movie star if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? He's out
Yeah.
here producing, doing productions and stuff. So
Yeah, they have
Fuck all that.
guarantees.
You see what Fox signed him to?
you
Well,
feel
speaking
me?
of black, shit. We got Nick coming up with his video. And Jayla, you wrong for that title, Lil D.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Pause that whole clip.
Man, y'all boys, man.
wow, man.
What Nick talking about?
Doing another Dead End Sports Who Deserves the Disrespect for this week. It's out now. The Reddit post that I did, I keep talking about, is actually out now. So by the time y'all see this, it's already out, and it's there for y'all to, have at it. Submit your names, ideas, whatever, hot takes. Just post it all on there. I'll figure it out. I'll find a way. But for this week, Who Deserves the Disrespect? To me, it's the whole NBA. I'm going to say the whole NBA. You know why? Because no one is really taking the New York Knickerbockers seriously this season. I mean, I just seen them bust that ass against Golden State. with a Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker, and Jalen Brunson in the starting five.
Not Villanova
And look at what we
Knicks.
doing. You know what I'm saying? We're top 4 in the East, about a game or 2 out from the third spot in the East. The Cavs are still up there. But yeah, I mean, and Jalen Brunson, come on. First of all, Jalen Brunson is on the greatest contract in NBA history, in my opinion. Because what the Knicks got for him when he signed to what the production he's doing now, I mean, he's honestly
Scottie Pippen, anyone?
I'm gonna say this. He's a top 3 point guard this season. I don't think that's really a hot take. If you look at the numbers, you look at what his impact on his team. Like,
I mean, that's not
name
crazy.
me 3-4 other point guards that are doing better than him right now this season.
I mean, that's not crazy.
But yeah, they're a serious contender in the East, and of course, I'm biased when I say that. But once they get all their pieces back healthy, Randall's still out. OG unfortunately got hurt again, but he's gonna come back by the playoffs. Like, and even then, this playoff team, what we got, as long as Tibbs doesn't run them into the ground, we good.
That's what, man,
So yes, the disrespect is coming from no one acknowledging that the New York Knicks are here to stay, and we gonna make a run this year. I can tell you that right now.
I wish this man was here live. I wish he was here live because he said name 2 or 3. Look, first of all, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's playing better than Brunson.
He's leading the MVP voting right now. I mean,
oh, is he?
Race, yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I know it's been between him and Joker.
He took over.
But Steph Curry, in my opinion, is still better than Jalen Brunson.
I agree.
Tyrese Halliburton is having in my
Take him out. Take him out. Yeah, he done fell off the cliff.
Well, the injury, but
I mean, I think it's not crazy. I don't think it's not crazy.
I think you can say Jalen Brunson's top 5. That's not crazy to say.
If you want to
say he top 2,
I mean, okay, but even then, like, I don't think Curry has done anything like in like miraculous this season. He's been Steph. He's been great. He's been all-time great.
Steph is miraculous by just being himself.
For sure, but it's like, look at his team though. Like, I think that Jalen Brunson actually deserves more MVP love if we talking about like being a valuable player to their team.
MVP,
absolutely,
love?
Absolutely. Look, man, hot take.
Yeah.
Hot
agree.
take.
Yeah.
Hot take. Hot take. Hot take.
I get it. I get it.
Hot take. Jalen Brunson is more valuable to his team than Jason Tatum is. And I've been saying that all season.
I get it because he's been left to do it alone since Julius Randle's been out, and it's been him carrying that load.
He do got Julius Randle, Sheldon. He doing it alone because it's Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know what people are looking at. Like, without Jalen Brunson, we're talking not just about his ability on the court, but like the leadership that he's given. Man, it's like it's exemplary. And I think that if you want to, the names Halliburton, Curry, Luka, if you put him as a point guard, for sure. Harden, maybe just if you look at just from like a controlling the pace type of perspective, floor general perspective, yeah, you could put any of these guys in a top 5 order. But Jalen Brunson, if we're talking about Shai Gilgeous, Jokic, he's in that top 5 for me in terms of if you take the player off the team, do they sink? It's him, Joel, Jokic, Shai, and Brunson so far, in my opinion, that have clearly shown that they've been carrying the load all season.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. Nick at his finest. Who else has been operating at their finest peak levels? We were talking about him about 2 episodes ago, whether or not he could carry this team without Karl Anthony Towns. That night they were trailing. Versus, I forgot who they were playing. Maybe the Cavs. Yeah, they came back and they won that game. And so far, he's stepping up.
Right.
Last night, this is how you make a name for yourself. When you do what you did to John Collins.
Oh my gosh.
I saw CNN had it. Like the story, everybody, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
CNN, Fox.
Rest in
Daily,
peace,
whatever.
John Collins.
Yeah. That's how you become a face of the NBA.
And his response to it.
Did you see what he said?
What did he say? I didn't see what he said.
I didn't see what he
Like
said.
they
either.
were playing it. They were playing it on the screen when he was like watching it. The reporter was interviewing
On
the white
TV.
dude on live on TV, and he seen it. He was like, little nigga, yeah. Like,
and that's an
white
exact
dude didn't know
quote.
what to say. He was like, oh, yeah.
That's an exact quote.
He
It was
dislocated his
funny,
finger, bro. So, he made the playoffs last year. So, I mean, do we see him reaching LeBron or Jordan? Or I'm going to even throw in Curry as starter.
The face of the NBA thing is simple. If he wins, he will be a face of the NBA. That's it. It's not that hard, guys. You know, if you win and you're in contention for championships year in and year out,
John Morant wasn't winning. He was close. He wasn't winning titles.
but he was until the whole gun situation. Ja Morant was considered one of the faces of the league because his team. Look at what he transformed Memphis to in such a short amount of time. It's the same thing with
Yeah, he shot him to the top.
literally.
Wow.
West Side Gun over there. Nah, but I mean, listen. I think if Minnesota is in contention year in and year out, and he continues to play at this level, I think he could definitely be a face of the league. The key is to win, guys. You know, there's a lot of guys that score a lot of points and have flashy dunks and do all the other things that Ant does, but it's the winning. It's being in contention year in and year out, where you're a guy that's looked at as a championship contender, as a guy that elevates into winning. If he does that, then I think he's easily a face of the league type of guy.
100%. I think winning is a big part of it, but I think the biggest thing is, do the youth do they see themselves in you? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like the youth sees themselves in John Morant, which is why John Morant, before everything happened, why he was being promoted, right? Mm-hmm. And it's also play style on the court. He try everybody. He come down the lane, bro. When he back healthy and Wemby down there, he gonna try to dunk on Wemby. He don't care.
Right. He already has, doesn't he?
Has he dunked on Wemby?
Yeah, he has.
He's tried.
He did. That's when he got hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that mentality, obviously, Ant-Man has that mentality. He trying to dunk everything. You know what I'm saying? So the winning is what really catapults you, but the foundation is laid on play style, and do other people see you as themselves? Like, are you relatable? And
relatability.
I think Ant has that. Ant has all of everything. And remember, I talked about it with the Olympics. I don't remember if it was this past summer or the summer before or whatever, but his mentality when Steve Kerr said, hey, D-Wade came off the bench, and he's like, well, there's no Kobe on this squad. Like, what is we talking about? Right? And how he took over being a star amongst stars. That's what the face of the NBA does. And Ken, you brought it up. Can he lead his team without Cat? What would you say the answer is?
It look like he's doing it so far.
Yeah.
Trade Cat. Trade Cat.
The great thing about him and how he translates, especially to the generation that we loved, is like he has the attitude that you want the best player in the NBA to have. He ain't friendly with everybody. He ain't dapping it up with people. Like he has said, even I seen a post-game interview of him this week, and they were asking him about his, where do you get your mentality from? He's like, my brother used to kick my ass. Like, always used to beat me. He never let me win. And he said, I feel the same way about people when I'm competing against them on a nightly basis. I never want to let you win. My one-on-one matchup, whatever it is, I'm competing to win. And that's such a 90s. That's such a Michael Jordan. That's such an era that we love and propelled him up to be that, because he had that mentality. Like everybody else not like that. Like I'm not sure if Jason Tatum is like that. I'm not sure if what's my man in Phoenix?
Booker.
I'm not sure if he's like that. So people gravitate more towards people like a Anthony Edwards, because they like to see that mentality in you. That's why people love Jordan. That's why people love Kobe. The Mamba mentality. So yeah, if he can keep that up, and like Manny said, if he can continue to win, then yeah, you're looking at somebody who's going to have just as big an impact as a Jordan, as a Curry. Again, if he can win, I'm not sure if Minnesota is the place to do it though. That would be my only concern.
Even
It
more
may
so
be
than
like
that,
a Kevin Garnett type of thing where you got to get out of Minnesota, bro.
Even more so than that, keep posterizing people. The more people you put on posters, the more you're on SportsCenter, the more highlights you're on, the more impact and more notoriety you'll get.
And staying out of trouble, man.
That's the biggest part.
I'm just confused by the question, because if we're talking about the face of the league, like I don't think there's gonna be any face, like singular face of the NBA for foreseeable future. I don't think that they're branding themselves like that. This is a
You don't think
Marvel
it could be Wemby?
cinematic. No, man. Like this is a Marvel cinematic universe that they're building. They're trying
Yeah.
to find like by committee. Like they're trying to have,
Correct.
all right, Wemby's down in San Antonio.
Right.
Steph and the old guard, like Steph, LeBron, they're like Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America and shit. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
right.
And then Miles Morales and all these little niggas that you don't know, like who the fuck, like that's who Ant-Man and these people are, man.
But inherently, I see what you're saying. It's a good point, Q. But inherently, there's always somebody that rises to the top and becomes that person. You know, that becomes
for
that
sure, but
potential. And it has a lot to do with winning.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's the person that we're seeing in the finals every year? Who's the person that we're seeing in commercials? Who's the person that we're seeing?
My only rebuttal to that, Manny, is that LeBron still dominates the playoffs when he doesn't make it. You see the dip in ratings, and what
he's a
that
lightning
means
rod.
is,
He's a lightning rod.
of course, because people want to see him win and people want to see him lose. So clearly, but also it's the LA market. When he's not there, you saw when the Lakers didn't make it that one year, or when they get bounced out the first round. And I don't think that people are. If I ask an average sports fan, do they know who Anthony Edwards is right now? They probably don't know anything.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But if Anthony Edwards gets to a finals like 3 times in the next like 8 years, maybe they'll begin to realize it. But it's like if you don't win, then we're talking about, does he need to go to a bigger market?
Well, that's what I'm saying though. It's going to go, and you're right about that, Q. I think they're trying to build it that way because you don't want to sell these short ticket packages. You're not trying to get the people going to a few games out of the year. You want them to go see whatever team is in the city. And like you said, if you got storylines all over the league becomes more popular.
And when you build it around one guy, when that guy leaves and when that guy gets hurt or when that guy retires, it dips the
right.
And it's also I'm just looking at how the NBA is trying to brand on an international scale. And like there's like Gilbert Arenas is starting this whole ban the European players wave and whatnot, which is hilarious. But it's like that is indicative of where the NBA is going, where they're trying to get Jokic and Luka, and like I'm traveling around right now, and I see nothing but Luka Doncic jerseys around Europe. Like it's everywhere, from like the Eastern Europe to Western Europe. It's everywhere, and you see that the NBA is floating out having games in Brazil. They're floating having games in New Mexico City, and they're floating about having a tournament in Dubai. So this is very much so them trying to build, like I'm saying, a de facto Marvel universe where Iron Man and Captain America, they about to bow out. Curry's 36 and LeBron's like 40 years old. So you have to kind of uphold the sky together. Everyone has to team up, and the NBA has to become like almost like a carnival attraction of, yo, we can go to this ride and see this, and we can go to that ride and see that. All right, we can go to San Antonio. Zion's in New Orleans. Hopefully he stays healthy. Okay, the Kings maybe they'll come up. Maybe Anthony Edwards will become one of the highest selling shoe markets. Maybe Kyrie can get another like ring at another point. Luka stays on top. Jokic. It's everybody. It's not just one guy anymore. You know.
Your point is a great one. But I think it only is accentuated if you see less of player mobility. If you see Anthony Edwards staying in Minnesota, if you see Zion re-upping in New Orleans, if you're seeing these top players, these great players staying in this market, if you get away from that trend of, oh, I want to go play with my best friend from AAU, or I want to go play with my cousin and them because they cool, we was cool back in the day. Like, just I think you need stars dispersed around the league. And I think that's where your point makes more sense than say in the current structure, where in a couple years you got to worry about if Anthony Edwards is going to leave Minnesota to go play with his friend from high school or whatever.
Well, that's the expansion is what I was about to say. Expansion, right? Seattle, Vegas, the international, Dubai, Brazil, all these places I just listed. That's international money coming into the NBA that's going to satiate the construction of arenas and new fan bases that get, pouring into these arenas. So maybe we'll see more movement, but it might be to bigger markets. Like Anthony Edwards would be with the biggest attraction in Vegas if he, in 7 years, if they build like a new
We're
team.
not going to see movement And the reason is the collective bargaining agreement. They've made the tax penalties for going over the salary cap even more difficult. You know what I'm saying? So they're obviously the NBA understands their product. They want players to feel empowered, but at the same time, they understand how it is detrimental for the entire league when you have the LA Clippers. LA Clippers, you can't sustain that business model for more than maybe 2 years, right? Number one, Russell Westbrook is on a veteran minimum contract, right? They're not going to be able to re-up 2 out of the other 3. So people are going to have to walk. So the league has put financial restrictions in place to disperse that talent, in addition to expanding the league, adding 2 more teams. And in the future, we already know that the NBA makes a lot of international money. I think Dubai is a little too far, but I think we could definitely see a team in the very near future in Mexico, South America, countries that are a little bit closer, just because of the rigors of an NBA schedule. Like, niggas ain't flying to Dubai.
No.
That's too much.
But that's that's going to be a tournament, is what they're saying. Is that they're going to have like a mid-season tournament in Dubai? So
no, 100%, and people are going to tune in for that shit. Yeah. Like, people are gonna, you know what I'm saying? So
and
the NBA is in a really good place.
And the NBA is in a good place. Mm-hmm. No, I was just gonna say, I think the NBA has other issues than who's the face of the league. I think the NBA's got a lot of stars. I think they have other issues, like devaluing of their regular season. That's to me more important than who's the face, because again, it's a lot of different things. It's winning, it's how you carry yourself on and off the court. There's a lot of different elements that are put into that, but. Yeah, I think the NBA is in a good spot, and Anthony Edwards definitely is one of the people that the NBA is gonna start marketing if they haven't done so already.
Shit, and they just added gambling. So what was that guy, Tim Donahue? What was the referee?
That's
Shit, I heard he sent in his application. But no, I think that I think he may got next, bro. I think. I think you pointed it out a couple of years ago, Shelton, like when he first got in the league, that his interviews, are funny, and he speaks.
He's a personality.
Yeah, and he resonates with this generation in a way that they understand. So even when he wasn't winning on a level, like, he was funny, and people enjoyed that, and would tune in to see what he's gonna say, and he gets, like, even the one he just did, like, that circulated around. And to your point also, Shelton, when you're dunking on people, like, imagine the number of people that didn't know Anthony Edwards, saw that on CNN and Fox and everywhere it was covered, that may tune in to watch the next game because they don't want to miss out on it. But so I think you got to put numbers on the board and you got to win. Like, that's what happened with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was a guy in college. Marquette had that triple-double, huge win, went to the NBA, crazy Jordan-esque run. And boom, he was off and running. Just that one title, teamed up with LeBron. It was taught LeBron how to win. And then it was off to the races, bro.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah,
Anthony Edwards, D Wade. That's a very doable path for Anthony Edwards.
So can you do that? Steph Curry was electric in college. People loved to see him shoot threes.
Yep.
Came in, injury-riddled career. Then he started just lighting up the board, and he became a sensation to watch before he even won.
Yep.
Won titles, then off to the races. So the path is there, and somebody has to replace these guys. Somebody has to replace LeBron. Somebody has to replace Curry, and just like somebody had to replace Iverson, which brings us to the next question, where LeBron said that Curry and Iverson are the most influential players since he has been watching the league. What do y'all think about that? You think he's right about that?
Who said that?
LeBron.
Yeah,
LeBron. I agree.
Yeah,
I
do too.
I agree to that. I think
LeBron
Curry has
to play. LeBron didn't
Since-
see Jordan play.
Yeah, but
after.
Hold on, Manny. The reason being is because the normal person can't do what Jordan did. We were fascinated by, like, oh shit, this motherfucker can moonwalk, he could fly, he's doing all of this crazy shit that the average person can't do. When you look at AI, it's like, that nigga my height. Like what do you mean? if he could do it, I could do it. You look at Steph, like outside of his shooting superpower, physically, what's imposing about him?
Not
Nothing.
imposing.
He's a normal guy.
Yeah. And these people thought everybody started shooting threes.
Yeah.
AI and Steph are your co-workers at the Amazon distribution center, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like no real shit though. Like, this is like AI's that dude asking you, yo, you got a lighter at your job? Like, all right, shit. When you on break kicking it, like that's the guy, and you're saying that wait, this is the dude who's going up and under on Shaq, like scoring 50 in the finals game, you know? So. And then AI, just from the tats to the swag, the stylization, Curry with, making kids who are under 6 foot feel like, yo, I don't really have to be the most like athletic guy. I just got to be able to work on my shot, get to the lane, and, saying like have a gravity. Like Steph really revolutionized having gravity. AI has swag and he had the crossover. So you can teach those things. You can't teach being 6'8". And being a freaking gazelle going down the lane. You can't teach being 6'6" Skywalker. You can't do that.
I agree. I think that both of them had a tremendous impact, and in different ways too. I think AI's impact was it's definitely on the court, but I think off the court. I think when AI came in, you really saw the melding of hip hop and NBA coming together to what we know now. Right before, kids may not remember this. Whoever's watching in the audience that's younger than 30 to 25. But there was a time when the NBA wouldn't really embrace the hip hop culture like that. And AI was really the first player that really brought that hip hop culture to the mainstream in the NBA. And so I think so there was a generation of kids that literally grew up with Allen Iverson being, their introduction in a lot of ways to basketball outside of obviously Jordan. But and then Steph conceptually changed the way basketball is thought of. It's played, everything. I don't know. I know Ken got kids, but and FIFA, but like I have kids now. I have my son who's starting to play AAU. To a man, every single one of them is Curry. It's Curry. They all want to be Steph Curry.
Yep.
They all want to be Steph Curry.
Throwing the ball up from half court.
It's the relatability, man. Crazy. Steph Curry he's relatable. Like, he's 6'3", he's what, maybe at most maybe 180, 200 at most, right? He's not that big, so he's relatable. It's different. That going back to the question about Anthony Edwards, I think that's the only thing that might keep Anthony Edwards from being that truly like relatable figure, because again, he's 6'8", can literally dunk over people. 6'5", 6 whatever. Yeah. He's got a lot of that Jordan in him, right? Where it's like, man, you're marveling at the athletic feat. With Steph, it's just proficient at this one thing and put in the work and being good. Yep, exactly. So Steph, man, they both had a tremendous impact, and Kobe too. Kobe's another one that had a tremendous impact. I think Kobe's impact is more on NBA players. Like if you listen to NBA players, basically this generation of NBA players, it's not necessarily Mike anymore. It's Kobe. To a man, it's all been Kobe. There's a lot of baby Kobes out there.
Because Kobe gave people a philosophy, AI gave people style, and Curry gives people work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Mike just gives you, I'm the shit. You can't do anything about this. LeBron gives you, God gave me this. But when you talk about AI, it's style. Curry gives you, put your lunch pail and your hard hat on and go to work. And Kobe is like, here's how I think the game. Here's how I live the game. Here's how I breathe it. Here's the philosophy around how you can not only win in basketball, but in life. Apply
and AI's backstory too. AI's backstory. All the shit that happened in Virginia with the trial and him being in trouble, losing his scholarship, going to Georgetown. That story.
He beat their ass in the bowl and that.
All that whole story. His come up had a lot to do with it too.
Steph is so influential. He does something no man has ever been able to do.
What's that?
Or make women's basketball entertaining.
Man, see,
like
we not about
you created Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, you could argue that his game influenced Caitlin Clark, Juju, like all of the girls now that are popular. And like Q was saying with the lunch pail stuff, like that's Steph. Like if you ask Caitlin Clark,
basketball now, it's Steph.
Yeah, basketball period, exactly. And it
Trae
makes
Young.
it a lot more entertaining. Like I would never sit and watch women's basketball 10 years ago. But because of the Steph Curry influence, when I see Juju playing or I see Caitlin Clark playing, it's like, okay, I'm familiar with that. That's recognizable now because it happens in the men's game. I think that's a big credit to
Damn,
Steph.
women can't create their own
Yeah,
shit.
you know, like, it took a man.
This woman's
like
Cheryl
Swoops
didn't
to-
exist, huh?
You see it.
But yeah, Allen Iverson with the shooting sleeve. Everybody wanted to shoot sleeve. Everybody got braids in the headband back.
Spike said-
Tattoos.
Yeah,
Spike said-
tattoos.
Spike said it took a man to make
Took a
women
man to
bearable.
make
you
good
know?
men.
Like,
Spike about to get canceled.
God
Spike about
damn.
to get canceled, man.
I ain't wrong though. I ain't wrong. I promise
Bro, that's
you that.
FIFO's job. What you doing over there?
Bill Burr over here.
I know FIFA agree with me.
No, I do. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Last one we have here about the Knicks. They won 4 straight games, and apparently that's a topic.
All right, Nick. All right,
God. Thanks, Nick.
Are they serious contenders in the East? Should we look at them?
I mean, I
Yeah,
was
because-
yeah.
Because
You
Jason
can.
Tatum don't
Yeah, you
scare
can.
you. If Jason Tatum was a monster like he's supposed to be, and you thought that, oh man, if they go to they gonna go all
You
the
think
way.
the Knicks can beat the Celtics?
Yes,
Bro, you
I do too.
I believe more in Brunson than I do in Tatum.
Y'all crazy.
That's a fact.
Yeah, y'all are crazy.
I'm with you, Spike. I'm with you.
Yeah.
No, y'all are crazy. First of all, they don't have
y'all
the
would take
talent and they don't
Brunson?
have the size to deal with that team for 7 games.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking regular season. I played you, 3 nights ago, and then we're playing you again. No, we're talking 7 games. I know what you want to do. You know what I want to do. You got to stop me. I don't see the Knicks being able to do that. Now,
Knicks-
I'm not.
Who's the 7-footer on Miami?
But Bam plays bigger than what he is. Bam plays bigger than what he is. We know that. We know that.
Knicks are 1 star away from really truly being a championship team.
I don't disagree,
I don't.
Manny.
I think the Knicks.
Wait,
are,
you said
the Knicks,
championship?
The Knicks need their Kawhi Leonard. You remember how Toronto was before Kawhi got there? You know, they were like, it's like, man, Toronto's a good team, but they need that one player to put them to the top. And I think that's what the Knicks need. I think the Knicks are a good team.
I thought that was Jalen Brunson. I thought that was Jalen
Oh,
Brunson.
he's the anchor. He's the anchor, but they need another guy there that can really make. I don't think it's Julius Randle. I think Julius Randle is a really good player, but I don't think him as
Carl
He's the
Anthony
third or
Towns.
fourth best.
to me. Carl Anthony Towns is a more talented Julius Randle. Like I don't think that he does.
I think that can beat.
That's
I think that
good.
can beat the Celtics if Jalen Brunson show up.
I agree with that. The Knicks with Carl Anthony Towns could
It's
definitely
just
beat the
tough. It's going to be tough because we know what Julius Randle is, and he'll be back by that time. So it's going to be really tough to beat a Celtics team in the playoffs.
Why do you say that?
Because Julius Randle dominates the basketball when he's on the court in the playoffs.
What about the Celtics make you think that they can't be beat?
I don't think they can beat
Julius
the
Randle.
Bucks.
I think it's matchups for me. When I look at it, who's going to match up with Jason Tatum? Even though you know how I feel about his mentality,
Himself.
he doesn't step up. He's the only person that can beat himself. But and I don't disagree there.
But
Q.
the Knicks got the same problem.
What was the dude name from Toronto they got? He can't match up with Tatum.
OG.
Quickly.
OG.
I mean,
Okay,
OG,
just take
I like OG.
he's a defensive specialist.
But okay, so then who you put on Jalen Brown?
Am I worried
His
about
left
Jalen
hand.
Brown?
You should. No, Q, I'm with you. You should be worried about Jalen Brown.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because
Can
he's a
Jalen-
20.
let me
He's a
ask you this.
25
Can Jalen-
point a game
Can
scorer.
Jalen Brown win you a playoff series?
He can win you a game or two in the playoff
Can
series.
he win a series?
He won a
he's
series
not
last
that
year.
guy.
Depend on
Yeah,
him.
he can.
He won a
can.
series last year.
I
He
don't know
can.
about that.
That's crazy.
He won a series
Jalen-
last year.
Yeah,
What
Jalen.
series did he
Jalen been
win?
cooking this year.
Didn't they or not last year? What was it? They beat the Cavs, right?
That was because of Jalen Brown, though?
I gotta see it, man.
I don't remember that.
Look. I gotta
I don't
see it.
remember
Every
that, man.
year
I
we
ain't
do
saying
this,
you
we
wrong,
do this,
but I
we
don't
do this.
remember that.
We do this every year with the Celtics, and I don't see nothing different every single year. It looks like another great. Oh my God, they can shoot the 3 balls so well. Oh my God, Jason Tatum should be in the MVP conversation. And then we get to the playoffs, and then it's 2 minutes left. They
The
down
second
one.
round, they go in
and
7
Yeah.
games with Indiana.
Jalen Brown starts shaking, and it's nah, bro. Like I would no. Let me ask you this: would anybody here be absolutely shocked if we said, "Oh, damn, the Knicks beat the Celtics 4-3 in the
I
series"?
would.
I would not.
I'd be shocked if the
I'd be
Knicks.
shocked.
If
I'd
the
be
Knicks.
shocked.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Q, I'm with you on the Celtics, but my thing is it's the Knicks and what they brought to the table. They've had a really, really good year. I told Nick earlier, I was like, man, they've been hooping. Jalen Brunson been hooping. Last night, CJ McBride had like 30. They got some players.
Are
but
we
it's still the Knicks.
sure? Are we sure the Knicks can beat the Bucks?
Right,
Which
right.
is
Oh no,
like,
you're right, man. They can't even get
who
past
on
the
the
Bucks.
who court is guarding Giannis?
Who's coaching the Bucks again?
I forgot.
Do we hear ourselves? Do we all hear ourselves? All right, so
I forgot,
so
Q.
Manny, the Bucks go up. The Bucks go up 2-0. You betting on the Bucks to close that deal? Or
I forgot, Q.
I'm not betting on the Bucks to close that deal.
Man, we might have to walk that back, man.
Yeah, and
I mean, but still, the Bucks talent wise, I think they're ahead of the Knicks. Now, again, coaching matters. Coaching matters. And listen, Tibbs has his issues in the postseason as well too. I mean, he tends to wear players out too. So, listen, I think the Knicks are. Here's what the Knicks are. The Knicks are a very good team that have an opportunity to, at the very least, get to a conference finals. Now, from there,
I'm with you on that.
See what happens.
That's a good
better take.
That's the best take.
Would I go to Vegas to sell my house on the Knicks winning a championship this year? No, I will not.
Only
Would
Nick
you do that for Spike's power rankings, which are up next? We got to see what this man.
Let's see.
Got cooked up.
I think this is going to be fairly agreeable.
All right, well, we'll
Fairly
see.
agreeable. Okay, we'll see.
It's fairly agreeable.
And we'll see. And then right after that, we're going to talk about the best thing in sports.
Wembenyama.
Yeah, well, don't just spoiler alert. Shit.
Jalen, we ready? All right, number 5 of Power Rankings, the best free agent signings so far.
Here we go.
Number 5 is Brian Burns, Giants. On the other end of Kent Thibodeau, I think that's going to be a really, really.
Is that
a
really
good
technically a free agent signing though?
That's a trade.
Exactly. He's not a free agent.
Signing. He got signed to a new team. Top 5
Got
people that are
traded to
going
a
to
new
new
team.
teams next year.
Okay.
Next at number 4, I think this is a great pickup by the Packers. Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing 2 years ago. Last year was up and down with the
Aaron Jones.
the Raiders, but I do think that the quarterback Jordan Love is going to be.
You think that's an upgrade over Aaron Jones?
Yes, big upgrade.
Wow.
I don't think it's a big
Aaron
upgrade.
Jones ain't never led the league in rushing.
But Aaron Jones is better
Dual threat.
pass catcher.
I don't think
Dual
so.
threat.
You don't think he's a better pass catcher than Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs?
Yes.
Josh Jacobs?
Yes.
Oh no.
Number 3,
This is scary.
Russell Wilson.
Oh my God.
Let's go Russ, baby.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
Hey, look, as y'all was saying earlier,
throw this
now it's
list in the
funny that
trash.
y'all are laughing at this now because y'all were making such a big case earlier about the Steelers being more successful with the quarterbacks. 1 year, $1.2 million. Throw him out there. Absolutely. This is a great signing for the Steelers.
His number,
I fuck with it.
his number 1 gonna be that long snapper that Dallas signed.
That's who we signed. Now it's Rico Dwindle. It's going to be that running back that we signed, Rico
The
Dwindle.
long snapper. Go ahead.
Number 2,
Cat
probably the
Williams.
most controversial, Kirk Cousins.
What is going on?
Let's go.
Hey, you.
Hey,
Does anybody look at this before he sends it to
Look,
Jalen?
Signing Kirk Cousins helped the Falcons win the NFC South easily.
Would you pick your names out of a hat?
They win the NFC South. They win the NFC South easily. He gets to take advantage
What's in that
of
cup?
all the talent that they have there.
Did
and
Rolling
being a
Stone
professional
make this
quarterback.
list? God damn.
Number 1.
Hey, he get
Q.
lighter as he go up.
All right, Q. I can't wait for you to hate on this number 1 pick. Number 1,
This is a complexion list.
obviously, it's Saquon Barkley.
Hey, man,
I
you
can't
gotta
even
tell the
hate.
truth.
I couldn't even hate, man. It felt bad even writing his name up here or putting the Eagles right here at number 1, but I can't hate. Him having 2 running backs in the backfield at all times with him and Jalen Hurts is going to be amazing.
Amazing.
So if you got somebody like if you have 2 people that can run the ball like him and Hurts,
Yes.
and then absolutely no quarterbacks in the backfield, it's interesting the approach to take in 2024
Yeah.
without having a passer.
That's
back
crazy.
there.
We got 2
we'll
quarterbacks.
see.
Y'all ain't got no running backs.
We got 2 running backs.
I mean, we got 2 running backs. Y'all ain't got
I
none.
ain't got no quarterback. That's what it is. But yeah, Saquon Barkley is number 1.
Do we hate
Who's
this?
y'all? Yeah, we hate that list.
How could you hate that?
Who's
list?
who's
I don't hate that list.
Ain't nothing,
I don't like the
nothing
order
you
of
can hate
it.
about that list.
I don't like the order of it, but it's hard to hate it.
Exactly. Thank you,
I mean,
man. Bringing some
fuck with
reasonable
you.
sense.
I'll fuck with you.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna jump to the best thing in sports. And who are we starting off with first?
Nick and Spike were the only two that sent me the best thing in sports this week. And so we can start off with Nick. Does anybody want to guess what Nick's on was?
The Knicks.
Well, I mean, y'all pretty much. That's what you got, 2K? Well, y'all right on brand. So the best thing in sports that he saw this week was Josh Hart. Yeah. Josh Hart played 48 minutes yesterday. What'd you say, Ken?
The audio's off, guys.
Oh, hold on.
And the audio's off now.
Can y'all hear us now?
Mic check. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're good.
Yeah, but Josh Hart is putting up some crazy numbers. Steals, rebounds, assists. He's doing it all. For a guy his size to be grabbing, 12, 14 boards a game is ridiculous. And he's doing it consistently game after game after game. And he's getting over 10 assists a game. So he's doing all the little things for that Knicks team that's necessary for them to win. He's playing good defense. It's crazy. It's crazy the numbers he's putting up. And I texted Nick the other day and was like, what in the world is going on with Josh Hart? Because I haven't been watching all their games lately, but I've been watching the ticker. So I'm watching, him do this stuff in real time, but it's been crazy.
Man.
I didn't send anything in, but I can give like off top like something I think is one of the best things in sports. If
what you got? Oh well, I guess after Spikes?
after Spike, yeah.
All right, Spike, you want to give yours?
Absolutely. I think everybody's seen this. We just talked about it. Best thing in sports this week was Anthony Edwards making a complete victim out of John Collins. Made that man
You're a victim.
Then he got hurt too, didn't he?
And he got hurt. And the picture afterwards with him crying, like right there when Edwards like flexing over top of him, man, that was amazing.
Hey, did you see him say, this jersey, I got to give my jersey to John Collins?
He said that?
Yeah, man.
A little kid asked him for his
got
jersey.
a great personality.
I got to get to John Collins. Oh, man, he clowned him so bad. The luckiest person in the world though is Austin Reeves, though, because he got dunked on too. But ain't nobody talking about his dunk.
Yeah, because it wasn't this bad.
Yeah, he got dunked on
This
bad.
all time right here.
Don't disrespect the white mama. Don't disrespect the white.
Hey, man, you know that looked bad. That dunk was bad too, but it's not this.
It ain't this.
Yeah, it's not this.
Go back and look up the Austin Reeves.
I did. I seen it.
Austin Reeves, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Austin Reeves is probably very appreciative that he's white today because we really don't
exactly.
care.
We
when it's a white
expected
boy.
almost out of white people. We
like,
knew that was going to happen to Austin Reeves at one point.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, he got heart, but it's like, nah, when it's a nigga, it's like, oh shit.
Right. And then get called a nigga on TV.
Yeah, like that shit
a little nigga.
Yeah, that shit was different. He already playing in Utah. He already feel bad about himself.
Yeah, oh man. To leave Atlanta to go to Utah.
Wait, he really had a concussion after the game?
Yeah. He grabbed his head on. I'm pretty sure he did.
Because somebody said it in our Madden chat, and somebody just put it in the chat. It's Stereo 87.
He got hurt.
Getting dunked on, then getting CTE is nasty work. Nasty.
Oh man,
quite a sight.
All right,
I got one real quick.
Yeah,
I got one.
I got one. Yeah. I mean, if we gonna go,
Jalen rolling his eyes. Jalen rolling his eyes back there. Now niggas got one.
I'm sorry, Jalen.
Jalen, sorry, Jalen.
Jalen, I'm sorry.
My bad, Jalen. My bad.
But the one I have, I don't know if everyone else has it, but LeBron and JJ Redick's podcast that they started called Mind the Game. I thought that was a pretty monumental, like LeBron James jumping into the podcast world doing, I think it's weekly or monthly or whatever they're going to do. Yeah, so it's weekly with JJ Redick, where they're going to be breaking down, I guess, tape or breaking down X's and O's and how to think the game, different sets, and just the different ins and outs that we don't see from. JJ Redick, he hates doing first take, but the money's so good that he's gonna keep doing it. But he very clearly does not like the format of this guy's the greatest player in the world today, and then you have to change that opinion in 3 days and justify it to the next guy that you think is the best in the world. So this is his way of being able to get his shout out to Manny, that whole Duke intelligentsia BS off every day. I understand the game from a different perspective, unlike these peons who are just talking about Stephen A. Smith, and that's where this is coming in. So I think you can check that out, FIFA. I don't know where you can get it, but I think it's on Spotify, Apple.
Wherever you can get podcasts.
Hey, Shay gonna be pissed because he was left out of that too.
Facts, yeah.
Hey, my real quick, Kevin Keats, NC State Wolfpack won the ACC tournament, which was huge. They beat my North Carolina Tar Heels, so I was very, very disappointed in that. I was hurt, but at least we got beat by a black man. And DJ Burns, who's from my hometown, shout out to DJ. Man, they had a great. They won 5 games in 5 days, which is ridiculous to do, and they knocked off some top contenders, man. So that team. And they play great basketball. So shout out to the NC State Wolfpack basketball team, and I'm looking forward to watching them in the tournament. I think they can make a deep run if they can get their legs back under them, but they were impressive. They look really good.
So I got 2 things real quick. I know when Ken introed this segment, I was saying Wembanyama, definitely Wembanyama. Him and David Robinson are the only rookies to have 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks and 5 assists in one game. The assists and the blocks, I think it was 7. Wembanyama has just been crazy this season. And as the season has prolonged, his play has gotten better. And we see that with top-tier rookies. Like, once they get a little bit past the All-Star break, they understand, this is the speed of the game. It starts to slow down for them. They start to dominate even more. And Wemby is that guy. And Q, in lieu of you talking about the JJ Redick and LeBron James podcast, which I think is obviously going to do numbers because of LeBron, and JJ's already a very strong stakeholder in the podcast game. Caitlyn Jenner and Lamar Odom are also a sports podcast.
They are
as well. Yep.
Is it called transition defense, or is it what's it called?
I'm not even gonna touch that one. I'm gonna leave that one.
I can't believe you got that out with a straight face, people.
I ain't never seen Ken grab a shirt.
Oh my God.
You make Ken grass.
So that's about to be very interesting. I think they're about to do numbers because people are going to be intrigued to see what these takes are.
Lamar Odom and Caitlyn Jenner.
Yes.
That's insane.
I mean, they got they should have good chemistry. They related, kind of.
They're related.
Well, he was with his daughter, or he was with her daughter.
Moving on.
Insane.
Moving on. Moving
Mars
on. I ain't gonna touch that one.
So you're not gonna listen to his fight?
Hell no. Ain't nothing. Hey, listen.
I listen that far. I listen to LeBron and JJ.
Nah, I'm listening to LeBron and JJ. I listen, man. More power to them and their podcast, but there is nothing being discussed on.
Bro, they might be smoking crack on that joint.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That's why I gotta see it.
Ain't nothing
That's
going
why
on
I
on
see
that
TV.
podcast that I ever want to hear, bro.
That's
Like,
why I
they
see
good.
TV.
I'm good. I am
I can't wait.
good, bro.
I can't
Best
wait.
thing.
You know, fire up the pipe.
I'll tell y'all all about it.
Oh my God.
One of them.
Pause, man. Best thing,
Pipe is crazy.
Christ. Man. Best thing in sports, piggybacking off of Shelton's point, man. He started the NCAA tournament, man. It's the best time of year for me. Favorite time of year for me. Love the tournament. Started tonight. Wagner and Howard had a pretty good game. Came down to the last couple seconds. I know we've been recording this, so I don't know if y'all got the chance to see that, but March Madness is here, man. I mean, you already seen it with the conference tournaments. I mean, you had so many bids stolen over the weekend, and you know, it's a wide open tournament, man. There's no dominant team outside of maybe UConn, so it's a wide open tournament. It's about 8 or 9 teams that can win a national championship. So it's the best time of year for sports, man. So best thing in sports, college basketball. March
Who's your
Madness.
sleeper? Oh, well, you got to do a video on it, like you said. But who's your sleeper, Manny? Who's your sleeper team?
Sleeper, man. I don't know if I have a sleeper, but a team that I don't think a lot of people are talking about is Tennessee. I think Tennessee has a real chance, man. Rick Barnes teams are always sketchy in the tournament, so that's the only thing that's keeping me from fully embracing them. But, you know, I think Tennessee has a really good chance, man. Dalton Knecht is one of the best players in college basketball, so they finally have that guy that could just take over a game. You know, that's been the thing that they've really been missing over the last few years, you know, during this run that they've been on with Rick Barnes, is that having that player that they could just get a bucket when you know, in crunch time, and they have that in Dalton Knecht. So Zakai Ziegler's healthy too. So yeah, I think Tennessee's got a chance, man. I think they're a really good team, and you know, I wouldn't say I don't really consider them a sleeper per se, because you know they're a top 2 seed, but you know, I think they're a team. I think Arizona, they're a little inconsistent, but I think Arizona has a chance to win a national championship as well. I mean, listen, I think there's 9 or 10 teams realistically that can easily make a run to a national championship. Marquette, if they're healthy, I think Marquette's another team that's a sleeper. Yeah, there's a lot of teams out there, man.
That's real.
All right.
Make sure y'all gamble responsibly.
Hey, do not gamble on this.
Yo, I didn't. I saw somebody put this in the chat, and I actually found the picture of Anthony Black and Grady's
Did you
jersey
see it?
exchange.
Oh
bro.
my gosh!
Yeah.
Don't even look at that.
That's crazy.
Yo, that is awesome,
Hey,
bro.
Hey, I meant to send it to y'all, but somebody else put like other people who should not do jersey swaps.
Yeah,
You
no,
saw
they
that?
said that Rudy Gay, Terrence Mann, Jalen Suggs, Black, and Grady should all get together.
People, did you see it? You didn't see it. So
You don't need to see it.
2 of they last. You know how they did
Yeah.
the jersey swap. And one dude
Jersey
last name
swap,
was
man.
Dick. One that dude last name was Black.
Oh
So
man!
they did the jersey swap with the Black Dick jerseys.
After that, they needed somebody with the name Pauls to come stand behind them.
Exactly.
And I think they somebody in chat said the cameraman got fired for that, but
Why? It
Did he
ain't his
what?
fault.
Yeah.
It ain't his
He should
fault.
sue.
yeah, that's what Bean said.
I'm sure the NBA was pissed.
I've been like, I didn't know what that meant. It was a jersey swap.
I'm sure it was the NBA's call though.
That's a
They was
different level of
get him out,
coonery.
That's
somebody
stupid.
gotta pay for
First of all, it's their fucking last names. I mean, all jokes aside, it's their fucking last names. I mean, what are you really gonna do? You know, it's not
Get your head out of the gutter, kids. Like we're like come
firing
on,
these dudes, like, for real, for what?
I think the best part is like the smiles on their face when they were realizing they could set it up.
They knew it. Yeah, they
knew.
Grady
They knew.
needed to do one with Jaylen Brown. He needed to do one with
Yo,
like,
chill.
So the social media guy for the Magic got fired.
do all colors. Every color in the league. Like he should have a picture.
Grant Long.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, man.
Good Lord. And Terrence, this is Rudy Gay, Terrence Mann, Jalen Suggs. Like,
Hey,
it's
the one with Rudy Gay gonna be crazy. That's gonna be insane.
Oh man.
Yeah.
man.
All right, so before we jump into super chats, let's take a quick commercial break. It's Kenneth Bianch. Make sure you guys check out the Frames Per Second podcast. Each week, we discuss the latest in movies and television shows. We also have in-depth conversations about what's going on in cinema, as well as what has happened. You can find the Frames Per Second podcast in your favorite podcast app by just typing in Frames Per Second podcast. Also, make sure you guys go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/FPS, and join our Reddit, our subreddit, which is also frames per second as well. We would love to see you over there discussing the latest in TV and movies. Welcome back. So let's get into some memory and super chats. Make sure you guys, check out frames per second. All right, Devontae. So does Russ start for the whole season?
No,
Why not?
He's gonna get. Ain't no quarterback start. Like he said earlier, 62 quarterbacks started last year. Ain't none of them playing the whole season. None of them. It's just,
If he's not hurt.
Oh, if he's not hurt,
It's hard to say. It's about his effectiveness. If he's good and they're winning, he'll start the whole season,
Yes.
barring injury. If he's not, then it
you're
opens the door for
you're gonna see
Justin
what you got for Justin Fields.
I think he starts the whole season as long as he's not hurt.
Green Bean, Spike, I would rather have Justin Fields than Lance, and we Cowboys gave up a fourth for him.
Wow.
I'd rather have Justin Fields.
That's another Cowboys fan.
Nasty work.
I thought he was asking you if you would like to do that, but yeah.
Do we know that Justin Fields is better than Trey Lance?
We don't know.
Justin Fields has a pulse.
Do we?
Oh my God.
We don't know that.
Do we even know Trey Lance is alive? Like, do we even know
We
he's
know
out of
that,
witness
Spike.
We don't
protection?
know that yet.
Like,
We don't
what?
know that.
Trey Lance is
Yeah.
AI. Trey Lance not. He's AI. That nigga not even real.
We absolutely.
No, but he's right.
Like, Trey Lance hasn't played a game since
We
the
got
Obama administration. Like, what are we doing here?
We got robbed for Trey Lance.
Oh man.
Like, what
Trey,
are we doing?
he is Trey GPT. Throw me a touchdown.
Nico, since the league acknowledged the fouling issue, average NBA game totals have gone down 15 points in the last weeks. Do you think this will impact teams that rely on foul calls like Clippers or others?
This has been a big thing amongst like NBA writers and stuff. They've been talking about this on podcasts and stuff all week since the All-Star game. That fishing for a foul, they call it, where you just flopping into people.
I hate that
They've
shit.
stopped calling it like at a massive rate, and it's affected like games a lot since the All-Star break.
I mean, old heads
I
love
like it.
seeing niggas beat each other up and shit, so I guess they love this,
cute.
but it's like, I ain't really.
Tell these niggas stop being pussy.
Like, it's like,
Fuck up. Shit. Soft ass defense. These niggas be playing.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think. I mean, listen. I think that the scoring. I think a lot of people realize that the scoring and then the fishing for foul calls has gotten a little bit out of hand. So I think as the game has become as players have become so much more skilled, I think that the game is becoming in a lot of ways harder to officiate. They're getting a lot more sophisticated with these things as far as fishing for foul calls. The flopping is not as obvious as years prior. So I think I think now you're seeing the league trying to adjust to that. And if the numbers are accurate, down 15 points in the last few weeks, then yeah, I think it's definitely going to impact some teams. At the end of the day, it's still about talent, still about scoring more points than the other team. So I think the Clippers and other teams like that will be fine. But yeah, I think it definitely plays a role.
You know, real quick, point of order before we get to Wu Young. I wanted to say for the best thing in sports, because we were talking about AI, Curry, all those guys. Kyrie's left-handed game winner, bro.
Crazy.
Is like we have to. Kyrie is the most skilled player I've ever seen ever, and we have to give him his credit. He's over in China selling shoes now, but it's like you got to give him his credit, man. Ramadan Kyrie, that was a halal game winner. I'm trying to tell you, like it was an amazing time.
And he had a great game tonight.
Yeah, facts.
All right. Well, the next
School you
one
went
is
to?
for you, Q.
He didn't go to school.
Name a good OSU QB before Stroud, LSU, Burrow.
Cardell Jones, nigga. Next question. Like,
There you go, Q. Thank
Cardell
you, Q.
Jones. Cardell Jones in the
Derek?
NFL.
No, definitely not.
We talk about the NFL, man.
No, definitely not. They're
Man, he didn't get a
terrible.
shot. He didn't get a shot.
But what does that mean? I mean,
He left too late. Damn near. He robbed himself. I never understood why he stayed the extra year. But, you know.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I don't even count Burrow. Burrow's more LSU than Ohio State.
Yeah.
Shout out to Otto for the donation. We appreciate it. And I got one more. Who was the better wide receiver group, Steelers or Bears? And then I got one more quick topic, basketball related, and we'll get out of here.
I would say today, right now, is the Bears.
The Bears right now, yeah.
Yeah. More accomplished wide receiver group.
DJ Moore and
Keenan are two
Keenan
number
are
one
both
wide
number
receivers.
one wide receivers. Yeah. And they both do great things when they get the ball in their hands. I trust them both equally.
And I know Cole Kmet is not a wide receiver, but obviously he's part of that receiving core.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet is legit. Not saying that Freiermuth is not, but
He is, but
I would give Cole Kmet a slight bump over Freiermuth right now.
And in Pittsburgh, you have Pickens, who is
the most talented of any of these guys.
Yeah.
out of all of them, but he's a loose cannon. So in saying that, we don't know what we got there.
If you guys
isn't established
traded
yet.
Johnson.
Like he isn't established yet. Like, what's his identity as a player?
Yeah.
Like, he's still trying to figure that out. Where we know what DJ Moore is. He's a jack of all trades. He can do a little bit of everything. Keenan Allen, we know what you are. You're a big body wide receiver. Throw the ball up, he's going to come down with it. Cole Kmet, another big body receiving target. So they're just the Bears right now are better, and then they can still go get another one of these youngins.
And I often say, but now if Pittsburgh mess around and get Jordan Jefferson, now we changing our tune.
And we're moving on up for real. But you got whatchamacallit?
Justin Jefferson, sorry.
Brandon Ayuk.
And Jefferson.
They talking about Brandon Ayuk is on the market potentially.
Yes,
So if
he
the Steelers
is.
get Ayuk and Pickens, or even if they bring in a guy like Tyler Boyd, it definitely improves their wide receiver room, and I think it makes it more even.
Yeah, bro.
I mean,
Hey, real quick on the Bears. I know we talked about Justin Fields, but like, how does the coach still have a job?
That's the question of the century right there.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm
I think,
confused with that one.
and I said this. I think it's going to happen a lot like Trevor Lawrence. They have this incumbent coach, right? I don't think he can coach. I think next year in the offseason they'll be looking for somebody new. And I'm gonna advocate now. Brian Daboll, come to Chicago, please, sir, because you ain't gonna do shit with the Giants next year.
That's the best point
already?
that y'all didn't make about the Bears being a terrible franchise. Is there's no way if I were a good franchise in hell that I would let that coach touch this new quarterback. After I seen what happened with Justin Fields, there's no way, like Manny said, that you would have a job, bro. You out of here. We get a new coach, we get a new GM.
That's what's wild to me. That's what's wild to me about. I mean, they have a new GM, but it's wild to me that Eberflus kept his job. Like, if you scrapping Fields, then you got to scrap Eberflus. I don't know how you separate the two.
Okay, so real quick question tying into this: do you think Eberflus is there for the whole season? I don't. I think he gets fired midway.
But now it goes into what y'all saying, like the Bears just not being a bad friend. I mean, the good
But
franchise. Because now I got another offensive coordinator. Now you got this generational talent that you think that's got to go through all these changes and shifts and bullshit that you don't want him to go through. Like
FIFO, to your point,
most important thing is going to be stability for Caleb Williams.
To your point, FIFO, if he gets fired, 6 games in, then it was already a mistake to because if you're not even going to let him finish the season, then you should have just fired him in the offseason. Yes. So it's like a double mistake.
Yeah, that's Ben Johnson's job. Ben Johnson will take that job next year.
Zion. Maniac Madness 11 asked if we talked about the reemergence of Zion, and I'm glad I saw this in the chat because we have not, but I think it is worth mentioning. Any thoughts on what's going on with Zion? Q,
He lost
what you got, bro?
Yeah.
Has Mardi Gras already passed? Talk to me after that. I ain't trusting that nigga run no beignets. He lost 25 pounds. I gotta see it.
That's what I was gonna say.
You are seeing it.
I put in the chat. He lost his 25 pounds, and he's playing. He's on a mission right now. Something happens when these dudes get with these internet ladies. And when you talk about them a little bit, we see what's happening with Jalen Green.
Internet ladies. You mean
Cut this nigga. Cut this nigga's
Jalen Green.
Cut this nigga's mic off, man.
Jalen Green hooping right now.
Jalen Michelle been going off.
All of them.
I don't know. It said something happens when they get with these.
Hey, they all hooping right now. That means your boy D's gonna have a great season.
Listen. Zion to me has been the most overly scrutinized player in recent memory.
I agree.
It's almost been to the levels of cartoonish behavior. Like, if you look at his numbers when he's healthy, he is a top 10, 15 player in the sport when he's healthy.
Sure, but
It's
the nigga
been
eat
health.
too much.
But it's not always about. Wait, hold on. First off. His health is an issue because, and I understand you can't control
because he
injuries,
eating too much.
but you can control weight.
Yeah.
And we know that has contributed to his injury history. So he's not controlling the controllable. So
Do we know that?
when you-
Do we know that for sure?
Yeah, we know that.
Has
No,
that
we
been
don't know that.
established?
You know
how
that?
we know that? You know how we know that, Manny? Because we saw what he looked like in high school. We saw what he looked like in college. And then when he got to the NBA, the man blew up. He looked like Shamu out here. And then he's been like Luther Vandross, getting fat, losing weight, getting fat, losing weight. Bro, you're a professional athlete. Part of your job is to be in shape. And in shape, I understand, is unique for everybody. His body, he's a big body motherfucker. I understand that. But bruh, you could look at him now and the lobs and shit he's catching, you wasn't catching at the beginning of the season. Why? Because you had 25, 35 extra pounds on you. That is controllable for Zion.
How
And
do we
Manny,
know? How do we know that the injuries haven't impacted the weight? Everybody assumes that the weight impacts the injuries, but because when he
no, I don't disagree.
Manny's right.
And that is a fair assessment. However, like I said, we saw what he looked like in high school. We saw what he looked like in college. When he got to the NBA, he was fat. Then he had injury history.
But he had injuries in college before that too. So he got hurt in college first.
He blew out his fucking Nike.
His Nike.
Yeah, he had. That's what I'm saying. He was only there this long. How many games he missed?
You had an S on it. You said injuries. He had that one.
Well, I'm sorry.
injury, right?
I'm sorry. It was injury. He missed a lot of. What I mean is,
he missed like the rest. He missed the rest of the season, and that was more precaution than
100%, and that was fluky. That's not, he tore his ACL, high ankle sprain like that, bro. He literally blew out a shoe. We've never seen that ever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So much so that Nike lost hundreds of millions of dollars in stocks after that. Obviously, they recovered. They're good, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, Zion, in my opinion, is, and I've got clowned on this telecast talking about how great he is, and he is a top 10 player when healthy. But at the end of the day, the scrutiny that he does deserve is maintaining the weight.
You just fell for the media propaganda.
No, I didn't. What you talking about? My eyes tell me, Ken, that he blew up.
Hey man, Zion is in the crib with the internet girls, like he was saying, and
right?
Like he getting fat, he eating beignets, and he getting some good, you know what I mean? And it just is what it is. Like, and you see what happens when.
But the conversation around Zion, bro, you would have thought that Zion was out here putting up like 6 points a game and like the dude is productive.
It's not the
he wasn't putting up nothing.
It's not the numbers. It's availability.
It's availability. He wasn't
that's his
put up
issue.
anything.
Yes, that's a part. That's a part of it. Availability is your best ability to a large extent. I get that. But to me, I just think the conversation around Zion has just been goofy. Like, I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying the national conversation has just been weird.
But see, Manny, the only reason I mean, I agree with what you're saying up until the point where you say it's weird. I get why they're saying what they've been saying because he's not been available. So they were calling him a bust because they said he never reached the potential we thought he would be at because we hadn't seen it.
Look at his career average numbers. Like, look like that's
it's how many games.
But Manny, here's the thing. It's not even. It is about the games, but it's not even necessarily even about that because some people can eat like shit and their metabolism and they body doesn't negatively impact their ability to show up. But you feel what I'm saying? And it's like what we're saying, Manny, is that you look at the numbers and that makes people who know what Zion can be even madder because it's like, bro, you could add like 10 more points per game, 4 more rebounds if you just like don't go to the drive-through at 3 a.m.
Yeah, like, nobody questioned his talent at all. It wasn't his talent that was ever the question. It was whether he had the work ethic and the mentality to get it done and stay healthy and stay in shape. That was always the question. It was never about his talent. We know
And
this dude, man.
And I get that,
Yeah.
but I feel like the production has always been there. That's why, I never really bought into the whole discussion of, he's fat, he's overweight, he's a bust, he's this.
But here's
because
the thing,
production. So that tells me because the production has always been there. So that tells me it's more of an availability issue. It's more of a health issue.
Right.
Now,
But-
again,
but-
if
but-
we
but
want to
that's- but that's
if we want to
huge,
sit here
though.
and say, I'm not saying it's not FIFO, but what I'm saying is, what predicates to health issues, right? Everybody's making it a weight issue. I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't fucking know. What came first, the chicken or the egg? It's one of these
But
arguments.
you know what I
you're never
know?
gonna fucking.
I know he ain't look fat in high school. I know he ain't look fat in college.
Manny.
And the moment that he looked fat, he started getting hurt.
Manny,
and
no.
to the tune, hold on, Q, to the tune of the fact that the most games he's ever played was 61. The lowest amount was 24. So we're talking about in the course of 4 years, he's played 170 games. In 2 NBA seasons, there's 164 games played. So this man has played literally 2 years worth of NBA basketball in 4 years. That deserves scrutiny when you are a number one pick, when you have been titled the next chosen by after LeBron, when we have never seen before Wembanyama this year and after LeBron, we ain't never seen nothing that looked like Zion. Zion was supposed to be the face, supposed to change basketball. And Manny, I do not disagree with you because I've always made the argument when the man plays, the man puts damn near Will Chamberlain numbers up. So from a skill perspective, I'm 100% on the Zion bandwagon. From an availability perspective, you have to do better. And I think that, look, I'm not a nutritionist either. But at the end of the day, my eyes tell me that you're fluctuating your weight, my boy, and you are a professional athlete. And all of the greatest NBA players that I done seen, they grow because obviously you get into the league young. You put on your man weight, then whatever it is. But Zion is fluctuating way too much. Whether that's the injuries causing the weight or the weight causing the injuries, I don't fucking know. But you got to get that under control. And I think that's fair to assess that. 61 games? Right now, based off of the collective bargaining agreement, he would never qualify for any of the awards. That's a problem.
Real quick, Hugh. I know you about to. I just want to respond real quick. I am not arguing with you. I think if you scrutinize him for his lack of availability, that's one thing. I'm on board. I can't even knock that. My issue is what is rooted in the scrutiny, and the scrutiny has become less about he's injury prone and more about he's fucking eating Popeyes all night, or he's fucking this bitch, or he's doing this, or he's doing. It's like it's just weird shit. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we having a discussion about this player that was supposed to be one of the faces of the NBA has not played more than 2 seasons of basketball in a 4-season stretch? Let's have a discussion about that, not about whether he's fat. Or is he too fat? Or what is his weight doing? Is his weight fluctuating from college to the NBA? This, that, and the other. That's my point. It's just the discourse around Zion has been weird. That's all.
It is cartoonish, but I do think that they are kind of like beating a dead horse. But there was something there when we saw after Summer League, the nigga like he had a BBL, bro. Like it's shit like that, like this shit looked crazy. Man. It was like all right, what just happened? And I think it's probably because he had the injury in college leading up to the pre-draft process. He knew he was hands down the number one. He got the assurance from New Orleans. And then he probably started eating a little bit. But, when you have those nagging injuries, Zion, when he's not taking care of himself heading into the league the way we think he wasn't. And I think that the contract with the Pelicans kind of gives us some insight into that because he signed an NFL type of contract with his guarantees that if he didn't meet the weight and if he didn't meet his requirements, then they would shave some of those guarantees off the top, or certain things would become non-guaranteed now. And when he didn't meet those qualifications last year, I think it kind of like him and his girl got the same body. Like, nigga, this shit is crazy. Like you can't show up to training camp looking like that, bro. But you see what it is now.
I get it.
He's light on his feet. He's jumping out the gym now, and it looks more like Zion when he was at Duke.
Yeah. No, I also think the situation you go to is so important. And I think New Orleans hasn't been the best situation for him. So I think that's also impacted that situation where I think they've enabled a lot of that behavior. And I think Chuck has said it best, right? When, guys used to come into the NBA, you used to have those veterans around that would teach you how to be a pro. I think that these guys, I think that's been a lost art in the NBA where you have these veterans that teach these young kids. I mean, you got to think about it. These kids are coming in at 18, 19 years old. Yeah. You're giving them a bag of money and you're telling them, okay, be a professional. Like, it's not that easy, man. It's not that easy. Listen, I think the Zion thing has been weird, but I don't think it's ever been a question of his talent. And I think a lot of people's eyes are opening now, like, oh shit, this dude can actually play. Yes, motherfucker, he can play. He's been a hooper. It's just staying on the court. So hopefully he can stay on the court because it's good for the league that he's finally playing at this level.
That's what they're saying, man. That's what they're saying. He's on the court. I don't think they're saying he can play. I think they already knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just saying, wow, he's on the court.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I just wanted to acknowledge that. You put that in there, and it's been like he's been playing. The Pelicans have been winning, and I guess now that he's playing and lost weight and not fat, they don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. So it's not sensational enough.
Yeah.
So I just want to at least acknowledge it on here.
Another great game from the night too.
Yeah.
He hooped tonight again.
Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe those rules changes about the money may have motivated him.
And I'll say this: if he's healthy like this and he's playing up to this level, that team is a scary team, and he's an X factor because you could argue there's a lot of teams in the Western Conference that don't have an answer for him.
Yeah, he had
if he's playing like this.
28-7 tonight. I'm sorry. Yeah, and he's the number one option now on that team. He's taking that role from Bi.
All right. Well. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. It was a great show. Yep. Fun as always, but we're going to call it a night. Make sure you guys check out Frames Per Second. Make sure you guys check out Spike's podcast, Another Week in the Books. Yes. Dead in Gaming. And Dead in Hip Hop. Is the mic still on? Everything, bro.
Everything. Whole network. Everything.
Check everything.
Yeah, it's a lot. No Wimby, because FIFA will keep us here for another 30 minutes. So we'll get into Wimby talk later. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us, man. We'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.